tag Safari Live on Twitter. Now remember to look at a lot of the diagnostic features. That very prominent white eye stripe. And look at the shape of the bird, and it's definitely a ground feeding bird. You can see it is on. Oh, Andre, bless you. Excuse you.
Thank you.
And oh, I think this could fox a few people. I will let you think about that. I'm sure you've got some screenshots to work off. Now off to the bird box. A live fan would like to know if it was one of her favorite birds, the cinnamon bun bird. Not a bad guess at all, Gracie. It could have been a female cinnamon bun bird. And the cinnamon bun bird is also known in other parts as the cinnamon-breasted bunting, but here at Safari Live we only know it as the cinnamon bun bird. But here we go. That is the cinnamon bun bird, but it wasn't a cinnamon bun bird, but it was a very good guess, Gracie. And I think you were looking at those white eye stripes and thinking it might be that your favorite bird. Very good guess, very close, because it is indeed a seed eater and a ground feeder. Well done, Gracie. You're going to be a much better birder when you're older than most people who've been birding for many years. So now we're at the vast open, the main open area at Cheetah Plains, and I'm afraid it is devoid of anything apart from a Swanson spur fowl and a couple of hornbills. There we go. There's a Swanson spur fowl. Also after probably termites out in the open area. Now it is a same family as the Franklins, but the birds known as spur fowls will have open skin on their face. You can see that red skin, and you can see very prominent spurs sticking out of the back of their legs that they use for fighting when they're competing for mating rights. There you go. Peck, peckety, peck, peck. Just go out again, just beyond the. Okay, zoom. You see there's a. You see where that hornbill is, just to the right of that hornbill. On the ground, a little bit more to the right. Another little bird. Zoom in there around that wildebeest dung. Where's it gone? I think it's made a departure. That it's escaped. Okay, well, let's continue on. By Swansons. No cheetahs today. But it is not a pipit. Now pipits have a much longer bill and they stand more direct. I'll show you what a pipit looks like in a second. And pipit. So pipits, there you go, you can see the whole family of them. And they sit a lot higher than that one did. Now if you go look at the beak shape was also different. There's the African pipit. Beak shape was also different, and it didn't have the face mask. It only had the top there. It is a very difficult bird. I'm not going to lie. I think it's probably one of the more difficult birds I've ever given you guys to identify on Safari Live. Just hang on. But we have some very, very clever people out there, and I'm just going to ask Final Control to give me their names again. Who said it was a yellow-throated Petronia. So Rob and Joanne, you were spot on. Yellow-throated Petronia. So it's a sparrow, and oopsie. So not always do they have that little yellow spot. There we go. So there we go. That yellow-throated Petronia. Very well done. That is definitely one of the more difficult birds I've ever given to you guys to identify on Safari Live. So Robert and Joanne, very, very well done. Now, James wants to talk to you from the incapacitated Wendy, so let's go see what he has to say.
Everybody, I have some bad and tragic news. The bad and tragic news is not that I've gone rogue and turned into a baboon, for I was a baboon before. In fact, the bad news is that Wendy is out of commission. The recalcitrant old axe that she is has given up the spook, is no longer, is dead, is expired, and will hopefully spontaneously combust at any second now. The clutch has gone. No doubt once it is fixed, something else will go as well, and frankly it's very frustrating, and I must apologize on behalf of Wendy for the lack of her mobility. David, of course, is still sitting on the back of her. I am sitting precariously in a Combretum apiculatum tree. I was going to attempt to get up into the Karula here, but you can see that would have been a foolhardy exercise, and indeed could possibly have resulted in my own demise. Stranded upon Warwick Hand Road, much the same way that Wendy is. Let us examine the tree for a little while. This is a leaf.
Audio's dipping.
What?
Audio's dipping, you're too far away.
Oh, I can't really move, David.
Sorry, I can't come any closer, James.
Can you hear me?
Every now and then, yes.
And now if I talk very loudly?
No.
Hopeless.
Yes.
Back to Brent?
I would imagine.
Can you hear me now?
Only in bits, James.
What about now? Oh, right, let's go across to Brent. Sorry, everybody. We'll try and do better next time. Auf Wiedersehen.
So we've just been sitting here on the open plains, and I thought I spotted something. I could be wrong. I think it might be another stick cheetah, unfortunately. But we're going to ask Jean-Ray to have a double look. And there's a game drive vehicle going past. So he might not have spotted it, but is it? No, it's a stick cheetah. Another one to add to the list of many stick cheetahs that occur here on the open area. Now, I'm watching that. Yeah, he's not driving at a speed enough to warrant our investigation. He's just, like we're doing, he's bumbling around the open area, trying to see what's about. Let's make our way back towards a 3-in-a-row pan. So, we started off with quite the cash bang, lion and leopard. And since we've been down at Cheetah Plains, we've been doing some good birding, some nice variation as we continue on. Hi, Abby in Ohio. Abby says we've been seeing a lot of baby cats. Now, Abby, cats can give birth at any time of the year. They do not have a set breeding season, but it's quite lucky for us they have it this time of the year because, well, for two reasons. It's a really great time to be a little predator because there's a lot of food about, and it is a drought, so the animals that their parents prey upon are easier to catch. But then also, it's easier for us to find them, to track them. But Abby wants to know, at what age are we going to start seeing the wild dog pups moving around with the adults? Normally by as early as 3 months, but normally around 4 months, where they start hunting very far from the den with the adults. So They're normally born early June, so probably August, September. We might get lucky a little bit earlier, but normally August, September is when we're going to start seeing them racing around with the adults. Now we're going to go see if we can track those probably very disgruntled buffalo that trekked to Cheetah Plains Pan to find no water. But I'm pretty sure they would have headed next to 3 in a row Pan. I hope they haven't gone straight north. They might have, towards the next set of pans and then coral. But I'll see shortly from their tracks which way they went. Oh dear. Looks like they went north, but we've got to check Cheetah Plains Pan anyway. Good news, James has found some interesting artifacts around the incapacitated Wendell, so let's go see what he's found.
Right, everybody, I have found some muck, and in this muck, because all muck out here has got interesting things in it, there is an egg. I'm just going to hold it there. You see it, David?
Yes.
And from my angle, because the sun is behind it, I can see that there still is something in it, but there are holes in the egg which indicate to me that something else has got in there. I don't know what kind of an egg it is. I'm going to suspect it's something like a gecko egg, but how many eggs must not make it to fruition, I think, is astounding, because that's probably been perforated maybe by a termite that was living in this mound. This is a piece of termite mound comes from this array of dead trees here, and what they'll do is that I guess these termites kind of set up like a temporary camp. The main mound, I don't know, Dave, can you see it there? It's just beyond the sort of pile of dead things on the right hand side there. Yeah. I think that's the main mound, and well, it's certainly part of the main mound. It's quite possible that the colony that made this is that same colony from that huge mound over that side. I don't really know, but they make these kind of temporary refuges in the area where they're gathering the food, because there are no termites left in here. And if you look at that, you can see hundreds of little tunnels that go through here, and this I suspect was probably dug up by elephants. Not sure why they dig them up. I think they probably just come up when the roots of the trees get broken up. Anyway, that's really all I have to tell you about this. I'll try and see if I can find something else inside it while we wait for Brent to find something deeply exciting. Viam is coming to rescue us. He said he was just having a picnic on the way. There we go. One thing you don't want to find out here while you're talking and trying to present is a scorpion, because the scorpion will of course then pick you or bite you, and you will say a bad word while live, and that would of course be terrible, wouldn't it, David?
Yes,
especially on a Saturday afternoon. Nothing else in here of any interest whatsoever. I'll try and find something else, shall I, David?
Yes, David.
All right, come with me then. Obviously, I can't move within a greater radius than this. Now, if you could actually, if you were a fine naturalist, you could probably take an hour-long walk in an area just where the range of this microphone is. Here we have some dung. I know that many of you have seen this dung before. It is Impala dung, a very fine vintage of Impala dung, quite small. A small Impala would have made this dung, of course. And I think on a Saturday afternoon it is always a good idea to engage in traditional South African sports. Many of you will know the sport bok, drol, spoeg. A bok meaning a goat, a drol meaning one of these, and to spoeg of course means to spit. David, you and I are now going to compete at bok, drol, spoeg.
Bring it on.
Right. That means we are going to see how far we are able to spit the dung of the bokdrol. Where should we spit it to, David?
That way, James.
That way? Out there. Okay. You will go first.
All right.
I will allow you the 2 feet from where you are sitting as an advantage.
Ready?
Ready. Very good, David. Here is where your bokdrol landed.
Strong wind, James.
It's a strong wind, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 size 7s from the back end of the vehicle. I will now try myself. I'm taking the victory on that one. I'll give you another try.
All right. Now I got it.
You've got one. Okay, here we go again, everybody.
All right, here we go.
This wasn't much better, David. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 size 7s from the vehicle.
Not just show me.
I'm shortly to beat him to duck. Hopeless. Anyway, that's bokdrol spook, everyone. Wonderful game. You can't see down here, can you?
I can.
Here is a hole that belongs...
Only just.
Only just.
Yeah.
So just below my hand here is a hole that belongs to a bushveld gerbil. Now the bushveld gerbil seems to be in residence. There are tracks all the way around the outside that you can't see. I'd love to be able to show you, but I can't move this foul vehicle that is Wendy. See what else we can find around here. Ah, now, I told you we'd be able to find lots of things. This is an amazing grass called the 3-awn grass, and it is completely inedible to animals, and that's why it's one of the last grasses that you can find out here. This one, particular one, I think, is called Aristida junciformis. No, it's not junciformis, it's another one of the Aristidas. But it's called a 3-awn because if you pull out the seed, hey, that's quite nice in the sun. You see how the seed has got 3 awns. Those are those 3 spikes on it, and it is thrown to the wind, and the wind doth take the seed all over the wilderness, whereupon it doth grow when the soil conditions are favourable. Tastes like straw. There you are, David.
Thank you, John.
You may have a taste of that. Not brilliant, is it? No. Not too unpleasant. It's just completely full of structural material, and that's why you'll find these around where there's no other grass. Alright, let's see what else we can see. We have a very small radius, everyone. Very small radius indeed. Oh, the ubiquitous Waltheria, let us not forget. Last of the summer flowers. Always nostalgic to see the last of the summer anything, really. That's what this is here. Last of the summer flowers. They're all dead. Absolutely no smell. I tell you what, David, while we're in the business of putting things in our mouth, why don't you have a taste of that?
Oh, thank you, James.
I'll let Dave do it first, see if he dies. Not dead yet, no. Really pretty tasteless, isn't it? Yes, not good. Okay, that's Waltheria. Many spiders living on Waltheria. I'm assuming Brent has found nothing yet.
He is on his way back from Cheetah Plains.
He's on his way back from Cheetah Plains. Okay, well, here's something quite nice. Can you see here, David?
Yes, sir.
This is a green thorn, everybody. A torchwood, a Balanites magami, there's another word for it as well. Anyway, it's that big tree over there is probably the parent tree of this one, and this one has been devoured by elephants. And I'll show you now why it's called the green thorn. David, do you have any guesses as to why it might be called the green thorn?
Does it have green thorns?
It does, David. It has got green thorns on it. Well done. Well done. And there, everybody, are the green thorns of Balanites magami, the green thorn. And I mentioned this the other day when speaking of another tree. I think it was Gymnosporia buxifolia. Marvellous name, just to say. Gymnosporia buxifolia. But this particular tree has got a stem that photosynthesizes. So normally, if you look at a tree, it's just the leaves that are green and full of chlorophyll, which helps them to photosynthesize and make carbohydrates from water and air. In this case, not so much. It's also the thorns, hence the green thorn, David, and the stems, which photosynthesize, which is very clever, especially if you're a young tree, because it means you don't have to make leaves before you can make food. Right, next thing. Over here we have Albizia harveyi, the common false thorn. And David, do you have any idea why it would be called a false thorn?
Because it's false?
No. It's because it doesn't have thorns, but looks like it could have...
Thorns.
That's right, false thorn. So it looks like an acacia tree, which it is not. It is inescapably without thorns. An acacia tree, were I to do this, over its branches, blood would stream forth from my fingers, which would be very unattractive. This particular one is the common false thorn. You can see my eyes looking through it now. It is very good for elephants. They like to eat it. That is why it is such a pathetic little size like it is there. And in some areas it grows very large indeed. And on the drainage lines is a lovely false thorn called the large fruited false thorn, Albizia forbesii. And we found George and Charlotte living in one of them not too long ago. Anyway, that's the false thorn. Disgusting, doesn't taste of anything very nice at all. It's also used, the roots are used as an anthelmintic. Anthelmintic, of course, meaning a medicine that is able to get rid of intestinal worms. And I don't know how many of you watched when VM and I found Sandile the other day. He had a very large intestinal worm that he vomited up. It was about this long, so next time we see him, I think we'll give him some roots of an albizia tree. Right, that's that one. Over here, Geraldine, you're seriously testing me. Over here we have the flaky thorn, Acacia exuvialis, and it is called exuvialis. I remember it because it's exfoliate. You can see that the bark is flaking off. And the best part of this tree, if you find it at the right time of the year, and I think I may have found one here. Have a look over here, everyone. Here's the bark, and look into this thorn. You can see a hole. You see the hole there?
The hole in the center?
The hole over there.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now in there I suspect is a slender ant. They like to live in these thorns. So let me just open it up for you and see. No. No slender ant. Why would there be? Right, Brent Leo Smith seems to be back on Djuma. That is good news. I hear the sounds of the rescue party on their way. Hopefully next time I speak with you, we will be mobile. See you shortly.
So, James is blessed with many skills. Mechanically is not one of them, and neither am I for that matter. But hopefully between VM and Opar they'll be able to sort it out. So you're back with us. We're trying to race to Djuma. We've unfortunately just got one little spot, but we should be able to have you for almost the whole way and only disappear for a couple of seconds as we dip through the bottom. But it is such a beautiful evening, and we're going to start making our way towards those lines at Buffelshoek Dam, and maybe as it gets later they're going to start moving. So hold on. And we're back! So quickly through the dip, we're now about to approach Cheetah cut line, so we're going to be back on Djuma in a matter of seconds, literally. And I'm just going to jump on. I've been on the Eastern Game Drive channel, of course down on Cheetah Plans. I'm now going to jump onto the Northern Game Drive channel and find out what's happening with those lions. Oh, there's something going on ahead of us. Let me just go onto the Eastern channel and find out. Sorry guys, a second. wonder what they're looking at. Station Gary Main, just to the west of Cheetah driveway. Copy, thanks very much. I wonder what it is. Now, this is the thing about certain creatures. The moment you try to predict what they're going to do, they can prove you wrong. And we're about to show you an example of that. And earlier on this drive, we had Karula going southwest, away from here. Now we're back to the northeast, and she's popped up next to our southern boundary. Maybe she is coming north. There she is. You got it, Jean-Jacques? So, there. A little bit to the right. A bit more. Looks like she's just made a kill as well. Keep coming. There we go. Zoom. Look at that. She's killed an impala, an adult impala. So she's come the opposite direction from where we saw her a few minutes ago. I mean, a few minutes ago, an hour or so ago. She is to the south of our boundary. Now, I can't see if any of the cubs are here yet. Sorry guys, I'm just going to be on the radio for a second. Those cubs were born 2nd of Feb, so 5 months. In the north we have been putting 2 vehicles in. Oh, cubs are here. Where are they, Jean-Jacques? I don't see them.
One's head popped up behind the carcass.
Oh, one's head popped up behind the carcass. I started looking everywhere. So it is a big impala. Now that is a bit of a problem due to the fact that it's going to be too heavy for her to hoist into a tree until she's maybe removed the stomach. So, oh, there's the cub there. You can just see it to the left of her. Now it is closing on sunset. The killer is on the ground. So we're not going to spend much time here. We'll just try to get one view of the cubs, a decent one, and then we'll make space for the next vehicle. Look at that. We'll try to see the cubs, but as you know, we don't stay with leopard kills on the ground, and we don't stay with cubs after about 10 minutes from now. The sun is getting quite low, and of course we want to give her the best chance of eating, and the cubs is eating as much as possible, because a big impala on the ground like this is a very, very good chance that hyenas might steal it, and the fact that it's so close to Gowrie Main, which is a virtual hyena highway. I'm just going to try and move a little bit so we can see if we can spot a cub. Thanks very much, Joe. I'll be out in 2 minutes and make space for people. Thanks. Okay, we're just going to try and get a view of the cubs. Okay, so she's just behind that tree there, and the cubs seem to be feeding this side, so let's go around. There should be a nice open gap coming. Genre, let me yelp if you see a baby. There we go, we should get a view of them from here, maybe. Yes, there they are, both of them. So I'm just going to the right slightly. I'm just trying to move so there's no stick. There we go. I saw the other one just off behind her. So both are there. I can't see if that's the little male or female yet. Now maybe it is possible, we didn't see any blood on her face earlier, but she might have been heading to fetch the cubs to bring them to this kill. Hello, little greedy guts. Yum, 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 yum. Fresh impala. I hope you guys are getting some fantastic screenshots when the little one looks away from its kill, or from its mom's kill. Isn't that gorgeous light? Andre, you think this is the best spot, or should I try forward a little bit? Try to get past that branch. What do you think? Yeah. Let's just try sneak past the branch. There we go. I think there's a gap between those two little strychnos now. Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? They're such perfect little miniature versions of the adult. You can see how it's using it. Oh, look at that. Red lipstick for Saturday night out on the town, so it must be the little girl. I think I actually can't see. I'm just joking. Is very aware about what's around her. Not only could she lose this kill to hyenas, she could easily lose it to another male leopard as well. So it seems like Saturday Catterday has not let us down again. Oh, nice big piece there. So I will stay for as long as we can. So we've probably got another couple of minutes till the next vehicle comes. And how lucky were we, just accidentally bumped into them. I saw a car on the road and looked to be staring a bit too intently into the bush to be an Inyala there. Now, not very far from here, I've just heard on the radio, is Tundi's, not more than 500 meters from here. I just got to be on the game drive radio for a second. Any other station also interested in the sighting, as soon as you get close, I'll move out for you as well. Here's the other cub. That's the female. That looks, I just saw from, it looks like that's the little female, the little male's still eating. Isn't this incredible? you can see she is opening the stomach where she's eating a piece of the lower intestine at the moment. She will try to get that stomach out and enable her to hopefully make that carcass light enough for her to carry up a tree. There you go, you can see the impala pellets falling out. That's the lower intestine. And she pushes the dung out and eats the lining. She is very aware. Oh, isn't that beautiful, the light on her face. Okay. What have they heard? So you guys just got to be on the radio. Yeah, Sinead, as soon as you close, I'll make space. So we're quite lucky. The others were quite far away because we happened to sort of trip over the sighting rather than call ourselves in for it. So thanks to Joe and everyone else for giving us a chance to view our favourite queen and her gorgeous cubbies. Now, Tom in Dallas is wondering about energy expended and energy gained. So what is the ratio? Tom, I would be lying if I said I knew the exact ratio, but leopards and lions have about a 12 to 15% success rate. So my maths is horrific, but I'm sure someone who's a bit smarter than me could work it out from there. She heard something, and so did the cubs. Ah, it was a francolin. Okay, guys, we're going to have to move out now and to give the other vehicles a chance to come in here. And we'll definitely come check here first thing in the morning again. So let's have one last look at the little male cub feeding away. And there's Mom, and off we go. Wasn't that exciting, isn't it? Aren't we lucky this evening? Okay, well, you know, sometimes you have tough choices to make, or lovely choices to make. We're going to make space, give someone else a chance to see Karula before it gets dark, and while we do that, or we're going to head off to some lions next. Leaving Joe with Karula, so Sean, make your way straight in, and Sinead as well. Thanks very much, Joe. So let's go see how James' afternoon's going on the Wendy.
My afternoon is going inescapably worse than Brent Leo Smith's afternoon is going. As you can see in front of us, a rescue party of the Mahindra. And in the Mahindra is the Bushwalk backpack, and there is Brian Joubert. You can see the the first officer of the rescue vehicle. The captain of the rescue vehicle is Willem Durenbrak, and he, of course, well, he's driving, and he thought he would be able to fix Wendy. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that even God could fix Wendy at this stage of her existence, and so we're going to be dragged all the way home. But really very wonderful that you saw Karula, and I just want to share with you the experience that we had earlier today. We were sitting in the Mulwati drainage line earlier I had just bought a camping chair, you see, my first purchase of the camping chair, and so I thought I'd test it out in the drainage line. So there I was sitting, and I dozed off completely, and I woke up with the feeling that something was looking at me, and I looked up, and there was Karula, not 6 meters away from me, just standing in the drainage line. She'd obviously been coming up the drainage and then seen me and decided she'd go past me, and she'd gone up onto the bank and she'd stopped and she was looking at me, and I opened my eyes and there was the Queen staring at me, and I opened my eyes and she saw me open my eyes, and she waited for a little while and then she just sauntered off up past the bank and off, and we heard some impala alarm calling, one of whose cousins has clearly just met its end, unfortunately for that. Anyway, it was the most wonderful experience. So although I'm having what can only be described as a subpar experience at the moment, as the dust from the Mahindra fills my nostrils and my mouth, and indeed my ears and every other orifice of my body, at least we did have that really wonderful, wonderful experience of Karula earlier today. And of course she is in an impala kill, which means that we could well be able to see her again tomorrow, which would be very nice. And there's the dove flying past, David. You see it? It's gone. Anyway, that's called a whip pan, everybody. A whip pan is when you whip the camera right to the side. Ah, look at this tree. Wonderful. Here we go. Peltiforum africanum. Stunning tree. And we've been doing quite a lot on eyes recently, and after we've driven home, towed by the Mahindra, well, I'm unfortunately going to have very sore eyes. But luckily I've just collected some Peltiforum africanum, and you can soak this in water apparently. Whoops, I nearly hit that tree. And then you can pour it in your eyes, and your eyes will be relieved of any trouble that you might have. Very soft. David, would you like to feel it?
Yes, please.
What do you think it feels like, David?
Like a soft.
Yes, like a soft thing.
A soft thing.
Yes. Now, if you're doing a school drive, of course, the first thing you tell people is that this tree used to be used as a toilet paper substitute. Well, kids find that deeply amusing when you tell them that. Of course, I've always found that to be a bit of a stupid tale, because if you look at it, well, there are just a lot of gaps between the leaves. And I think that using this as loo paper would be a profoundly silly idea. Anyway, that's what that tree is. Let's see what the next thing we find is. No, lots of silver cluster leaf. Let me find something else. Brent is going back to the lions, which is good fun. Silver cluster leaf, David. Oh, you know what is... I know that this is... Look, I know this isn't quite interesting as Karula and her cubs. Hang on. Never mind. Those francolins are alarm calling. Anyway, what we have here, if you look at this leaf here on the right-hand side of it, what you can see is a bit of discolored piece of leaf there. That's it, you can see it there. That discolored piece of leaf is made by a leaf tear, and a leaf tear is a type of caterpillar. And although when you flick, or when you turn this leaf to the side, it looks like it's two-dimensional. It isn't, it's obviously three-dimensional. It's only a couple of cells thick, or a few cells thick, and you find that those few cells, or in between them, live a couple of tiny little caterpillars, and they're called leaf tears. Now that's a fascinating piece of information, isn't it, David?
Yes, sir.
Do you feel that you will sleep easier tonight knowing what I've just told you? There's the sunset, everybody, the magnificent orange western horizon, the embers of the African day start to disappear in amongst the dust of the Mahindra in front of us. Marvellous. Right, Brent is on his way to the lions. Let's go and find out what's happening there. I might or might not see you later.
Welcome. Well, James has given me a chance to layer up before the cold comes. So thank you very much for that, James. And then, unfortunately for him, he has had quite a bit of a trying sunset safari with vehicle issues. Hopefully we'll be able to get that sorted this evening and still be able to put out 2 filming vehicles tomorrow morning, and hopefully not one rust bucket and one Mahindra Maggie. Although Maggie does serve her purpose, she's not nearly as fun to drive around in. And look at that. So the sun is set and beautiful horizon, deep color. And we are now heading down towards the Buffels Hook waterhole, where here the lines have not moved much, but we are heading at the right time of the day, that they will hopefully become a little bit more active. So it sounds like 4 lionesses there, so Mom might even be there. Or is Mom the 5th? Well, there's 2 Moms that we know of, so there could be a 5th Mom might be with her babies. Ah, there we go. So apparently there were 2 females with suckle marks fitting me with James. So both moms are present. So I wonder if the missing one is Amber Eyes, who's still trying to lose her tail of the mating lions. Well, this is where they came in. Oh, we're going to have a traffic jam here. Let's just open up, let tourists come past. Evening, everyone. Baie goed, dank jezelf. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Enjoy, guys. We'll see you a bit later. There we go. Sorry, I just had to avoid the ball of GoPros. Okay. I'm just listening to the radio. It sounds like there's possibly some more lions not far from Buffels Hook. Okay. Hi Zoe. So we've seen lion and leopard cubs this week, and Zoe is wondering, do they have the same mortality, or has one got a greater chance of success than the other? Well, Zoe, not really. They both sit around 75%. Lion cubs are in danger for a little longer in terms of their mortality rates, and of course, being a wild animal, you're always in danger to a degree out here. So leopard cubs have about a 75% mortality rate till they reach a year old. Then it drops way down to sort of 15-20%. Whereas lion cubs will maintain that sort of 70 to 75% till with females they're about 3 years old, and they're able to start coming to estrus and mating with males in case a new male coalition comes in. But they are generally around the same. Now, leopards, of course, become independent at a lot younger age than lions, and as soon as they become independent, also their mortality rate drops off, and they are a little bit skittish, and they like to move around and avoid any confrontation. And of course, there are generally more lions about than leopards, because lions being a social predator. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not sure which side of the dam or where exactly the lions are lying when we're about to arrive. So, and can you see a vehicle yet? Ah, there we go. I see a whole bunch of flat kitty cats. Oh, very flat kitty cats. There's 3 in a row kitty cats. Look at that. Perfectly in a row, those three. Now, we've just been talking about lion coalition takeovers, and Sherry in Colorado would like to know, do the females and cubs move with the males? They don't. The females will stay within their territory. The cubs get killed by the new males, and that immediately causes the females to go into estrus again, normally a false estrus first, but then the new males will start mating to produce the next litter of lions. So we've got 4 females, 3 lying in a perfect row, 1 a little bit higher. Now, you definitely don't want to be the 2 of the bottom females, and the male at the back showing you why. If lions have a full belly, which these seem to have very nice full bellies, they're quite lazy, and you can see that male lion has urinated without even sitting up. Now, lionesses will do that as well. You can see there. And he's just foot full and happy, so no need to stand up to have a pee. He just does it on the spot. Now, I have seen lions pee on each other on many, many occasions, and these 3 lionesses lying in that very straight line, and also on quite a steep bank, it could be interesting, but normally that when being urinated upon, the lions don't move at all. There's the 4th lioness. I think the cubs have been introduced to the other lions yet. Very difficult to say, but there is a possibility, but I think it's unlikely for the moment. I think those cubs we've seen haven't been introduced to the other lionesses yet, but I think it'll be quite soon when it does happen. Oh, is he going to roll over? Male looked like he's going to fall down the hill. He's slipping down the hill slightly. And let's try have a look from above, see what it looks like. Now, nothing can sleep quite as heavily as a full lion. They are the champion sleepers of the African bush. Oh, there's a bit of a stretch, not much. Let's go a tiny bit forward. How's that for you, Jean-Andre? There we go. We've got the lionesses all lined up. They look very, very comfortable at the moment. And hello, hello. Jean-Andre, look over my shoulder. Look there. It's a hippopotamus. Oh, I wonder if he knows the lions are lying on the other side of the bush. It is possible. You might smell them. You might decide it's safer to stay in the water for a little bit. What? Jean-Andre's seen something?
Yeah, just the side light.
Oh, the side light, of course. I'll turn it down. How's that? It's always so funny when you see lions like this. They're just so fast asleep. It literally look like there's nothing in the world that could wake them. But even though they are resting like that, they'll be able to hear and still smell things and react with incredible speed. Can you hear? So we are sitting next to the Nkuhuma Pride, and I'm sure a lot of our long-time viewers know how they got their name, and maybe some of our new-time viewers don't. The first time they were ever seen was under an Nkuhuma tree. An Nkuhuma tree is a brown ivory tree. So the first guides who were from Djuma, whoever spotted them, found them under a brown ivory tree, and that's where they got their name, the Nkuhuma Pride. Now they've had a tough time of it over the last little while. When I arrived, oh look, you can see there's some stable flies, there's little biting flies feasting upon the lioness's ears. Now they're quite vicious little bloodsuckers, those little flies. But luckily for her, night time is nearly here, and that should bring some respite from the biting flies. As I was saying, the Nkuhumas have had a bit of a tough time of it since I've been here. I think when I started, there were 8 lioness, 7 lioness, sorry, 8 lioness, 1 young male, who was affectionately known as Junior. Now, Junior is independent now, and gets spotted every now and then. I think that hippo just caught a whiff of lion. He just snorted and lifted his head. He just looks a little bit more uncomfortable, and he's looking towards where the lions are. I don't think he can see them, but I think he can smell them. Oh, yes, he's not very happy camper. The lions are looking quite full, but they are opportunists. I don't know if you come down a little bit from the hippo on the edge of that mud flat. There we go, look at that. A little 3-banded plover as well. Isn't that a beautiful little silhouette? And you can see all the aquatic insects on the top of the water there. A little plover taking advantage of the last light. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And while we sit here and wait to see what the lions get up to, James is still being towed through some part of Djuma, so let's go see what he's got to say for himself.
It's very dusty, everybody. Lots and lots of dust. We're on our way home, as you can see. The lovely silhouettes of the knobthorn trees dead. Fork-tailed drongos up above them. We obviously won't be stopping for them. Dying embers of the day. Look, David, there is the moon. Behold the moon.
Oh,
Can you see it, David?
only just.
There we go. It's a
There we are.
beautiful shot. What are you talking about? We're taking a world-class game drive here. Well done. Zooming in on the moon while on the move. Well done, David. Excellent job. We're probably about 10 minutes out of, we're 20 minutes out of camp at this stage. VM has driven exceptionally well. He pulled us through the Mulwati drainage line like an old pro, and well, Brian is giving him much moral support there from the middle of the car. I'm sorry those lions aren't doing anything, but I think they've eaten so much, and I'm very sure also that those 2 lionesses are going to go back to their cubs. I don't know if that's, maybe you can tell me if Spotty Nose is there. she's the one we think is the mother of the cubs we saw the other day, those 3 lovely little cubs. So she'll go down towards them if she is there. Otherwise, those other 4 are not part of, don't include Spotty Nose, which would be quite nice, because it means that we know where all of them are. And we were asked this morning where we thought all of the Nkuhumas were, and it would be very nice to be able to account for them all at this stage. And it also will mean that we have 3 lionesses with little cubs, which is going to augment the size of the pride substantially and provide us with great joy when they eventually come out from their hidey holes wherever they are now. More drongos to the right. We're now on the home straight, everybody. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on our little drive today. Of course, I must thank Viam and Brian for their sterling efforts. Let me just ask Brian to stand up. Brian, would you stand up and wave at everybody in lieu of thanks to Viam and yourself? There he is, everybody. There he is. He says we're welcome, and Viam, of course, was waving out his bush. Well done. And a big thank you to Geraldine in the final control, ably assisted by Kirsten Mac Smith. No thanks to those back in camp who have not helped us this afternoon. Mostly thank you to all of you for your patience. We will see you tomorrow morning. We might be walking, we might be driving, we might be lying in our beds with the bushwalk camera. Who knows? Until then, stay safe and happy wherever you are, and hopefully we'll make it home alive. Bye-bye.
As you can see, the lions have not moved an inch. But I don't think these lions are going to move an inch either. And Ephraim's just got hold of me, and he would like to have a look at the lions before it's too late. So I've said, no problem, Ephraim, you can start making your way. So I'm just going to let him know. So we're going to stay here till Ephraim's a little bit closer, and then we're going to move on, and hopefully we can find some other fascinating nocturnal creatures. FF. If, as soon as you get close, I'll make space for you. I think they are going to be flat cats with those full bellies for a while yet. Well, this is a very interesting angle. Not often you get to be above 3 completely fast asleep lionesses, actually 4, if we count the one that's just out of the light. Oh, time for a rollover. Well, hi, Cindy in North Carolina. Cindy wants to know, do the big cats have different brain sizes, and is one more intelligent than the other? Intelligence is a slightly more difficult thing to gauge in an animal like a big cat. It's very easy, for example, for a hyena. A hyena as opposed to a lion. A hyena is a much more intelligent animal. And is able to problem solve much easier. Not to say lions can't problem solve, but they struggle with it, let's leave it at that. And so do leopards to a degree. What they are is they're very instinctive creatures. So they rely on their instinct. What has she heard? What? I might have heard something or seen something. Maybe heard something in the distance. Now, as James said earlier, the females with cubs are more than likely going to head back to their cubs at some point. And of course, those cubs are little, so even if they do move off, we're not going to stay with them. Well, at least she's... Oh, there we go. Down the hill, onto her pride mate. But it looks like the sand absorbed it, luckily enough for the lioness below. Okay, she might go for a drink. So let's just see what she's doing. I know Ephraim's not too far away, so we will make space for him. I think this is about the most action we're going to see out of these cats. Nat, and looks like she might have been more interested in defecating than anything else. Interesting to see how the hippo reacts. I copy. If the one with Fuzz is about to drink, as soon as she's finished drinking, I'm out. Give me 2 minutes, please. There we go. Look at that. So, very full belly. Having a quick drink. I hope you guys are getting some nice screenshots. I'm going to snap a shot quickly. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay, aren't we spoiled today? Lots of cats everywhere. You can actually hear her lapping up the water. Okay guys, so Ephraim's just up the road. We've had such a fantastic day. I mean, leopard and lion all over this place. And we'll definitely be looking for these guys on the sunrise safari. But I'm going to let Ephraim come in now and have his chance, and we're going to go see what else we can find. I think I'm going to go look for that little African wildcat that we've been seeing around Gari Cutline. Cheers, cheers. Enjoy, guys. Wasn't that spectacular? Make your way in. Okay, so I wonder what else this winter wonderland out here in the African bush has got to offer us. I wouldn't mind a little wildcat. What do you think, Chandra? That'd be quite nice, little African wildcat. Film's just over there. This could get a little bit interesting. I'm just going to stop quickly before we disappear. We are quite far away from them, but the hippo and the lioness. She's going to walk right in front of the hippo. Let me just grab my spotlight. Very good. So this looks like one of the mothers. So she's going to be heading back towards the babies. Now, I wonder if the hippo is going to charge her. If we come out a little bit, Chandra, you can just see where the hippo is. So there's the hippo. Oh, no, she's going to flop down again. We're going to go utilize a nice cool water there. Okay, let's continue on. Ephraim's on his way in here. Okay. Wow, cat a day. Saturday, cat a day. So this morning you had quarantine with Jamie. And this evening, you've had the Nkuhumas with James, and we've had Karula and the Cubs. Amazing! And of course, the Nkuhumas again. Unfortunately for James and his mishap with Wendy. So I definitely want to head down towards Gari Cutline, where we've seen that African wildcat twice on the Buffelshoek boundary, and we've both times actually been spectacular sightings. And that's the wonderful thing about being out here, is you never know what's around the next corner. It could be a caracal. Hi Janet. Janet would like to know, do we have any fruit or insect-eating bats in the area? We have both, and quite a few different species of both. The most common of the fruit-eating bats we get in this area would be straw-coloured fruit bat, or Peter's epauletted fruit bat. Of the insectivorous bats, we've got probably 30 species easily. Everything from the Mauritian tomb bats, to Egyptian tomb bats, free-tailed bats, horseshoe-nosed bats. Now, there's a lot of bat species here. Of course, they're one of the more difficult ones to film or photograph, but they are around. And the fruit bats have a wonderful little pooping call, I suppose. It goes boop, boop, boop. And the insectivorous bats are much more high-pitched, sort of very difficult to do. Woof. But nippy in the dip, say Chandra. I think it's going to be bitterly cold this evening. I think tomorrow morning is going to be one of the coldest drives of the year, would be my guess. So this is the area where we've seen that little African wildcat. It could be anywhere here. Hi, Honey Bear in Connecticut. Honey Bear would like to know, are African wildcats the same as feral cats in the USA? Not at all. They're their own distinct species. Feral cats, obviously domestic cats that have gone wild, so to speak. These are completely wild African cat species. They're one of their biggest threats. Oh, vultures, where are you off to? Let's see if there's, I don't want to put the spotlight on them, give them a fright. They just took off as we drove past. We don't want to blind the vulture and cause it to fly into a tree. Looks like a little hooded vulture, not the big white-backed. Off they go. I'm sure they'll find another nice tree to roost in. So anyway, one of the biggest threats that faces African wildcats is actually the domestic cat, and more so the feral domestic cat, because they are able to interbreed with African wildcats, and they destroy their genetics. So one of the biggest threats to African wildcats is domestic feral cats. So, tomorrow is Sunday for us, and that means I think we might be having a fireside chat tomorrow evening. And we'll gather around the fire and talk about the fantastic sightings of the week. And I must say, I've only been back on drive since Thursday, and I've seen, what have I seen since I've been back? I've seen the Nkuhuma lioness and the Birmingham male. I think I have not had a drive that I haven't had cats in. So that was my first drive back. My second drive had the Nkuhuma cubs for the first time, 3 of them and mom. And then later we had Shivamba lion and quarantine. And then the next drive we had a magnificent sighting of quarantine. And then this morning I had a sleep in. And then this afternoon we've had Karula on 2 different sightings, one with the cubs, one without. And then now the Nkuhumas. So I think my cat mojo is working since I've been back, but I better not jinx it, because we know how it can go. Tomorrow we might not see a cat for the next week. Hopefully we will be able to get Wendy up and running, otherwise we'll rig Maggie the Mahindra again. There's that Nat.Geo on the road. Okay, no bush babies yet. I'm hoping for a bush baby along this quite chilly section along the edge of the drainage line. We had such a fantastic bush baby sighting last night. It is. Oh, we got some eyes ahead. Oh no, they're just an impala. Yep, just an impala. Or maybe we'll see an African civet. The last time I saw that, an African civet popped out in front of us. Now this is always a good spot for bush babies, and it seems like tonight we're not having any luck. Maybe we're a little bit late and they've already moved off. Maybe we might even find a good spot for Varro's eagle owl as well. I like to roost in a big jackalberry tree here. Let's have a look. I'm just having a look in the tree. You can see it's a massive African ebony or jackalberry tree. I'm just trying to see if there's an owl or a bush baby or a genet. And no such luck. Now, strangely enough, on my way to bed last night, I saw a Janet just behind James's room, and it was very relaxed. I shone my torch on him, and he sat there and watched past. Very cute little creatures, and of course quite often incorrectly referred to as Janet cats, and they are not actually a cat at all, but much more closely related to the mongoose family. Oh yes, Jandre was telling me that tonight is, what's it called, Jandre? It's Jupiter ascending or something like that.
Ascension.
Ascension. So tonight, Jupiter will actually go behind the moon. So you can see Jupiter next to the moon there. There we go. You can actually see. So the fuzz is not fuzz. It's actually the incredible amount of dust we have in the dry season here. And you can almost see it. Almost looks like the moon's pixelating, but it's not. It's actually just the massive amount of dust that are in the atmosphere. Jandre is going to do some camera magic. Now, hopefully there's some Pink Floyd fans out there. The dark side of the moon. And there's Jupiter. So during the course of the night, can you see my spotlight? No, not really. No. So during the course of the night, that little ball there, which is actually a massive gaseous planet called Jupiter, is going to traverse behind the moon for us. So it's going to keep heading up in the sky and eventually go behind the moon. Nice, Jandre. Thank you for reminding me about that. Jandre and I discussed it as we started this evening's sunset safari. Oh, what's the dust? Hi, Norman in Georgia. Would like to know if African wildcats are related to American bobcats. No, they're far more closely related to the domestic cat. They are probably the ancestors of the domestic cats, but the domestic cats have been so inbred with each other that their genetics are not very good. But so no, they're not. The bobcat is, of course, a member of the family Felis, the cat family, but not at all closely related to any of the African cats, unfortunately. And so about as closely related is, let's try and think of a comparison, as a chimpanzee is to a gorilla. No, that's much closer. As a warthog is to a bush pig. They're both pigs and both share a common ancestor many millennia ago, but there we go. What's that? What's that? Oh, it's a bushbuck apparently in a scrub here. It looked so small. I thought it could be an African civet. I got excited. It was quite a long way away. Just make sure nothing's hiding down here. No, there isn't. But thank you very much for joining us on this wonderful sunset safari, and we do apologize for the vehicle issues we've been having with James. It would have been great to have him out as well with me for the majority of the safari, but I thoroughly enjoyed keeping you all to myself. But I'll see you in a few short hours for the sunrise safari, so toodles for now.